Now I know when a game is good, and this game is good. Cult of the Lamb is a roguelike game with city building, kind of, but it's not really a roguelike. It's more of a roguelite, which means you can still keep the things you die with and bring things into the fighting and shit. So when you die, it's not just completely over. No! But it may as well just be a roguelite because half of the shit you can bring in with you and the upgrades you can get are literal arse, so it doesn't really matter. I feel like this is one of the games that you've heard of, but you've never really looked at or played, or maybe I'm just wrong. So there are two parts to this game, which are almost completely separate from one another and probably should be two different games. There's some really chill baby city building where you build, look after your cult, and clean up their poop and shit. It's kind of weird. Your cult is full of these different animals you can find on runs that you save from being sacrificed, and for the majority of the game, if you don't piss them off and leave them to starve like I did for a while, they will stay loyal to you and praise you. But there's nothing really insane or crazy or groundbreaking about the city building part of the game. Like, it's cool and peaceful and stuff, but it's really like easy. So there's not really much to worry about here except for making a place look cool. Now, I didn't really give a shit about the city building because it's not really the thing I'm into, so I can't give a good review on it, but the roguelike part of the game is where I can actually talk. Now, I love roguelikes, okay? Big fan of them, so I was excited to get into this game because I love the idea of running a cult and running up monsters and dungeons or whatever. Now, I give credit where credit is due, and this game is genuinely actually good. I'm not here to hate, and I really did enjoy playing it, but it doesn't exactly shine anywhere. It's kind of like they had two options for making a banger roguelike or a banger city building, and they said, fuck it, let's do both. And it works. Trust me, it works. It's just not awesome. The roguelike section of the game, I say, is where it's definitely most fun, but it does get repetitive. You see, in something like Risk of Rain or whatever other roguelike, you have like 697 different things you can pick up. And in Cult of the Lamb, you have 5 weapons and 10 curses, and that's it. What the fuck? You can't stack stuff, so you go with what you get and make it work. Of course, there are these tarot cards which can actually be lifesavers. Like, some of them are awesome, and I absolutely love the idea of tarot cards. You also have a special attack with most weapons, and to top it all off, you have some different function. I don't know what it's called, but you can like pick it up and gain another ability. Pretty cool. Now, there are definitely a lot of positives as well in this game. Like, the bosses, they're actually really good for some reason, in my opinion. So at the end of every crusade, there will be a boss. Either it's a main story boss or a boss you need to defeat to get to the main story boss, and some of these bosses are piss easy, and some will make you want to rip your eyeballs out. No, the bosses aren't hard, but even dying in this game is really damn annoying because you get sent all the way back to the start. You gotta tend to your cult for 20 minutes and then you're ready to get back into another crusade to try and get that boss again. So just remember, if you die to a boss, you've lost 20 minutes of progress. Sorry. Now, like I just said, every time you die, you're gonna get sent back to your cult. Now, what's really cool about that cult is that you get to name your cult. So I called my cult Cult of Sean Tan. And no, not the awesome filmmaker you guys have probably never heard of, but it's named after this dude. He went to my high school and he's in the army now or something. Pretty cool guy. Anyways, back to it. There are 4 main story bosses and kind of a non-secret boss at the end you have to fight once defeating them all. I think the worst thing in this game is the downtime, in my opinion, okay? I know there isn't much downtime, but I have a massive brain rot mind, so if it takes me longer than 5 seconds to get into another round, I get instantly bored. Which also relates back to how it sends you back to your cult, which you have to tend to for an hour until you can get into another run. I know this is my problem and probably just something I experienced, but I thought I should just share. Now, I take it back. I said this game before that it doesn't really shine anywhere, but it definitely does in one specific spot. The minigames. Over in the Lonely Shack, there is this minigame called Knuckle Bones where you can bet money on fucking people up in a dice game. Game is really simple. Just chuck out some die or dices, whatever you call them, and try to get the same number as the other player to remove their die. First player to fill their board and has a higher score wins, pretty much. There is also a fishing minigame where they stole the code from Stardew Valley and said, yep, this will do. I feel like I may be a bit too critical on this game, but I have to say, it is actually a really solid game. It's like a jack of all trades, if you know what I mean. It does everything it can without really focusing on one point, where I think this is where that game falls down. So when the game starts, you're getting sacrificed and you're saved by whatever this dude is called, and he tells you to go start a cult and take down all 4 bosses so that you can free him. Now, once you complete all 4 main bosses, you're gonna face him. I mean, cause what the fuck, man? So either you get to choose to take him down or take your life to free him, but I have no idea what happens if you pick the other option because I didn't pick it. I chose the option that everyone should do and face him yourself. Take that boy down. The fight isn't like Souls-like level, but it's a little challenging, but his second phase is literally so much fucking easier than the first one for some dumbass reason. I did die a lot, which really pissed me off. Now, what's really cool about this game, that is also with your cult, you can actually do quite a lot. My favorite thing in the city building mode are the rituals to your cult where you can like sacrifice a dude for the greater good, send him up to heaven for no reason, make them all starve themselves for 3 days, and my favorite one, none of them are allowed to sleep and they have to work for the night for a few days. But my absolutely favorite are the sin rituals, like this one. They get all naked and dance around like a fucking monkey. I don't really know what it does, but it farms this thing called sin, which you can use to decorate your temple. Pretty cool stuff. Although there isn't much strategy in this game, you pretty much go crazy with the attack button and hope for the best. You can also name the people in your cult, which I completely forgot about. I called all of my members an ascending number of losers because they all are literally stupid, and the whole game I just left my people to do their own thing because I just wasn't too interested in the city building thing. There is quite a lot to this game, especially for an indie game. So in conclusion, is this game worth it? Abso-fucking-lutely. It's an amazing game that falls short to the video game trying to do too much. Even if this game isn't on sale, I would say it's still worth it. Plus, it was published by Devolver Digital, and you know these guys ain't missed when they dropped Ape Out, the story of Harambe. You know this game is lit. No complaints. Either way, good work, Massive Monster. You made a really solid game, and I had a great time playing it considering I pumped a whole 27 hours into it. Now, get out there and take on the world of Cult of the Lamb, defeat all the bosses, and become no longer a servant. no less than a god. Subscribe.